Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here today, and I wanted to give a quick update on my WR250R. I haven't been spending nearly enough time on the bike, but I've finally got some of the accessories fitted back onto the bike, getting it kind of more into the form that I want it as the adventure style WR. And while there's a couple more things that I urgently need to do that I've got the parts for, that I just need to set aside the time to do, I'm pretty happy that I've got some of these bits on. One of the first things I did was I added these Protaper bars because on the previous WR I bent them really easily, and I thought I'd go for something a little bit stronger. Now, I haven't actually done a bar replacement on a bike before. I've taken grips off and put heated grips and things on, so that was a little bit of a different experience. I wouldn't say I did the best job with it. It's a relatively simple job. It's just getting the controls on and off, which is difficult, and getting the grips on and off, which as well can be a little bit of a hassle. I don't have an air compressor or anything like that to help get things off, so it was very much a first time experience. And then getting those Barkbusters onto the new bars. So I've got the Protaper bars on. They're just an aluminium bar. They are, I think, off the top of my head, I can't even remember which ones I bought. I just went into the motorcycle shop, found some which were on special. They're the same size as the bars that came off. These aren't fat bars or anything like that. I also had to buy some grips and some grip glue to replace the standard grips because it was just easier to cut them off. I think if you had a compressor or something like that, you might be able to slide them off and get them back on, but you know, at the end of the days, I did drill the bars for the for basically the little pins in the switch blocks, just to make sure that they wouldn't be sliding around on the bike. I know some people say you don't need to do that. You can just get them pretty securely stuck onto the bars. You know, you might need to use a bit of tape or something like that to clamp them onto. I figured the price of these bars was pretty reasonable. I think it was 90 bucks. The grips are about 10 or 15. Coming from road bikes, that's a very small amount of money, really. That wouldn't even get you a lever on a road bike. So I figured I'd drill them, I'd see how I go. Honestly, I didn't actually have to drill all the way through the bar to get those pins in. So I can't imagine there's too much strength lost there, but you know, who knows? Obviously it's got the big Protaper, you know, protector in the middle here. Really cool set of bars, reasonably easy job. I messed up on these grips as far as cutting them back a little bit too far, and then fitting those Barkbusters wasn't quite as easy as on the stock bars. I think just the shape of the bars is a little bit different, but you know, the design is really flexible. I've got the two mounting points because I want the high levels of protection on this. I went back and got the jets again, and what I've actually done is I've ordered the LED indicators that can go on those handguards because I think they're going to be nice and visible. And I do realize that this being more the adventure style bike, they're likely to get damaged, but you know what? It was a small amount of money again. I want to give them a try. I want to see how they go. It's just like a cool kind of thing. I'll probably run them in unison with the stock indicators, or maybe get some smaller LEDs and run two, because obviously running LEDs, the draw is very low. The other thing I've done on the front is add the mirrors. I'm really happy with these mirrors. These are what I put on the previous bike. They are the Doubletake Mirrors. Basically the mounting system is their ball joints. I've got the adventure style mirrors, which are a larger mirror, and you've got just like a really easy to undo connector on the back there, which you can adjust them on the run really easily. You can fold them back when you don't need them. You can like fold them down. It's a really cool system. It's a expensive system. I guess not if you're looking at like Rizoma mirrors, it's probably comparable. However, I really like it because, you know, they're meant to be fairly hard to damage. Once I've got these pieces, it's just a matter of buying a new lens if I smash a mirror. So the initial expense is quite high, but then just buying a mirror I think is like 30 bucks, which, you know, it's not as cheap as some of the eBay mirrors, which in my experience, everything I've tried has been rubbish. However, it does the job, and they're a good mirror. They give good vision. Really happy with that. What else have I done on the bike? I've got the Dunlop D606s on it. I'm going to do a separate video talking about my impressions of those on the road so far. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of off-roading, which obviously is an important point on them too, but I'll do that shortly. Apart from that, I have got the B&B Sump guard on the bike. It was really important to get some protection on the sump. Obviously, the Yamaha GYTR sump guards were out of stock. I think they're still out of stock. So I was happy again to go back to an Australian producer, and it's a really good, really heavy duty thing, easy to fit, no dramas there whatsoever. It does add to the sound of the bike. You're getting a bit more of a reverberation, and it does amplify the engine noise, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to be putting an exhaust on anyway, so it doesn't really matter. On the back, again, I went the B&B basically rack. Really nice design, nice and heavy duty. The Skags was the other option, but to be honest, the Skags was the same price, and it's basically just a plate which mounts on. And I was like, if I'm spending that much money, I want something a little bit more substantial, which might be silly because this is obviously going to weigh a little bit more. But I like the look of this, and it matches the bash plate, so that's cool. The other thing, the first thing I did was I put on these pegs. I think I've mentioned that in a video before. Really nice and grippy. They're wider than the stock pegs. Getting them on the second time after we worked out how to do it the first time, really simple, really like a 5-minute job. And I really like those pegs. They're grippy, they're wider, they give me a better feel, they give me a better grip to the bike, easier stance. I don't feel like I'm tipping forward or back with my boots. So another thing that I really recommend. What else am I going to be putting on? The larger tank. That is the next job. The tank and the radiator guard I'll do at the same time. I went the IMS, the 18 litre tank, I think it is, off the top of my head. I was kind of umming and ahhing about the Safari because it's obviously Australian made, and I do like that aspect of things. But I got a lot of recommendations for that IMS tank, including from Greg Yeager. I was at Adventure Moto looking at the larger tank and asking them about it. And he was there down at Ride ADV and the shop that they used to have down there. It's moved now. And he just recommended the IMS. And I do like the larger range. You can definitely not fill a tank, but you know, once you've got a smaller tank on, adding capacity, you then have to start adding, you know, bags of fuel or canisters of fuel to the back. And I liked the elegant solution of an all-in-one tank. So I'm going to try the IMS. I've just got to fit it. As I said, the radiator guard will go on at the same time. I think I've got an air filter to put on as well, which will be something else. And I've got the seat concept seat, which I have actually already got from the original bike. Luckily, that wasn't stolen with the bike. I've been running the stock seat so that I'll be able to do a proper comparison between the two seats. And I will say what I've basically been doing is I haven't been leaving the seats on the bike. I've been taking them off the bike and keeping them up in the apartment just to make it a little bit more difficult to steal, alongside all the other things that I've been doing to make it a little bit more difficult. And then the next thing I want to do is get the exhaust on. So I haven't got an exhaust. I'd kind of like the GYTR exhaust because I've heard good things about it. Availability's been a little bit of a problem, but we'll see how we go. I think they're all similarly priced, realistically speaking, and I don't want something too loud. So there is that as well. I mean, the bike is reasonably loud, just with that sump guard on. I'll start it up. So I don't know how well that will have come through the sound recording. It's got the typical single exhaust note to it, but most of the sound is realistically from the engine, and that's kind of magnified by the sump guard. So, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Really, really happy. I need to get out and ride more. I need to have a lot more fun on the bike, explore some more interesting kind of terrain. I need to take a couple of days where I can just spend the day exploring, and I want to get the large tank on so I can do that, because that gives me an enormous range. I reckon a 7.8 litre stock tank, I was getting 120 Ks filling up at like 4 litres. So I could probably get 200, maybe even stretch to 250 Ks, probably not 250 Ks with the stock tank, but the much larger tank I'll be getting, you know, like 400 Ks easily between fill-ups, which means I can just go out and explore and not worry about running out of fuel or carrying auxiliary fuel separately. So that's the update on the WR250R. As I said, I just got to get out and ride it more and get that tank on, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Hopefully that'll be this week. It's been very chill, and it's actually beautiful riding weather when the sun's out. Anyway, if you've got any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. As always, stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.